So to help us understand the events that happened plus the cultural moments for 2018, I have Brian Bunde. He is a brand creative strategist as well as Seruni Minor, tech journalist from TechWiz. Just to help us understand and go through what it is people were Googling in 2018. Now, despite the fact that Google itself turned 20 years old, people were searching very important things like how to vote, how to buy bitcoins for some reason, to Stephen Hawkins when we lost him, as well as the royal wedding and Black Panther. Now, the whole point of this, if you look at Kenya specifically and their how-to, which we're going to get to in just a few moments, you get to see Kenyans had a more entrepreneurial mindset, so as to say. They're Googling things like how to start a business. But before we can jump into that, take a look at this video, courtesy of Google/YouTube, that has about 17.1 million views. It sort of puts everything into context of what people were Googling, including the Thai boys. Take a look.
It takes a few seconds, so I'll switch this one on. And we'll just say, if Mummy talks. Alex? 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 Hello, you.
This is a miracle rescue, that all 13 members of the soccer team are out of the cave.
He turns into a superhero, set on feeding as many homeless people as possible.
This election, we've seen historic voter turnout.
An all-Asian cast, there's nothing more empowering. Chance to go right up and do it. Yes!
It'll be alright.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Let the music play.
New dance in the outfield. Will you marry me?
You're Laurel too? I was saying the word Yanni.
But however difficult life may seem, while there's life, there is hope.
Kids have the dream, they just want to know that someone cares.
We got love for you. It's only right. We got to stick together.
Washington Capitals are champions!
Welcome to the show, Chloe Kim.
I love you so much. Los amo. Gracias. They just proposed to each other.
Life is good. The world is filled with people doing the best they can, you know, who love their kids and would like to live their lives with a little dignity and hope, just like everybody else.
Oh, wow. People can be still kind on Twitter and social media. How to be a good listener and what makes a good friend. Brian, let me begin with you. For you, what was your biggest cultural moment for 2018?
In Kenya or globally?
Anywhere.
Well, can World Cup be cultural?
Well, yes, it is.
Definitely, yeah. It brings guys together. It was a moment whereby you're meeting with friends who you haven't hung out with for quite some time. It's a moment whereby you see your favorite player playing for your favorite, let's say, national team, and now you can possibly definitely hate on them at the best way, and yeah, it just brings guys together.
Then on that note, between Croatia and France, which one were you supporting?
Definitely France.
And because they won.
Kind of African.
So for you, what was your biggest cultural moment or event or people for the year 2018?
Okay, for me, definitely would have to be Riparian Land.
Really?
Yes.
Out of everything that happened in the world?
Out of everything that happened.
Land.
Because I have to admit that for me, it was actually the first time I heard of the word. I know. And one thing I also know, I'm not alone.
I like your honesty.
Yes.
I'll give you that for sure.
So that time, everyone was literally going to first see what Riparian Land is, and then second, see if you're actually in trouble with NEMA for being on Riparian Land. So that stood out for me out of everything else.
Okay, that's a genuine one. Okay, let's take a look at who were the most Googled or searched for people in Kenya locally, all right? So take a look at this. Sharon Otieno, who died after a gruesome death. And for her, this specific story put Governor Obado, who is still under investigation, at the center of it all. Miguna, I am not boarding. The politician/author who also created Hot Airwaves was one of the most searched personalities for in Kenya in 2018. Jackie Maribe, another murder that still remains ongoing, which placed journalist Jackie Maribe at the center of it all. And of course, Babu Owino, and lastly, Kanzedena, after she became State House spokesperson, an unexpected career move over there that had a lot of people talking. So those are the most top searched personalities. Brian, do you want to add on to this one? Are you surprised? Babu. Okay. I mean, Kanze, okay. Miguna, I mean, I am not boarding. Hello. That was a bit dramatic. Then you have, of course, Sharon Otieno, who was... her murder had put a lot of Kenyans online searching who she is. What is there someone on that list that you expected that didn't appear?
I would say Uhuru and Raila because of the handshake. I'm sure guys were trying to search why the handshake actually happened and the reasons behind it. Wow.
And even because...
Let's say Wanyama too, because yeah, it was quite a big year for him.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
but he didn't appear in like the top 6.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So it's weird.
Saruni, for you, are you shocked that some people are there? Are you shocked some local personalities are not there?
I'm shocked that Babu Owino is on the list. Yeah. I have nothing against him as a politician, as a person, but out of everyone on that list, I don't understand what he's doing on that list.
Oh, Haji would have been perfect. Yeah.
Who?
Yeah,
Nordin Haji.
Yeah.
Exactly. Someone like that, you know, that would have been something that we would have seen coming. But for Babu, unless it's just his dramatics and things that he does here and there, or probably it's actually his issue with slapping his fellow member of parliament that pushed him to the top of the list, because that's something that has actually attracted international attention. So maybe.
Sharon Otieno, she was the most Googled person. Would you attribute this to the fact that she was a university student? So fellow university students would Google to see what was happening, because around that time, a lot of the conversation was even university students wanted to go on the streets and protest. Saruni, your thoughts on that? Given also that both of you are quite heavy on social media, so you're sure and you could see conversations that Kenyans were having.
I think Sharon Otieno's case is that because it was such a high-profile case, it attracted attention from all sorts of people, students, parents, you know, anyone who'd actually be curious, because the number one thing that I can say that has propelled such a list of top 6 is curiosity, and it's a trend that you'll see even on the other lists. Because once you're curious, you go to Google and search what exactly happened. And also something else that was very interesting with Sharon Otieno's case was that information was very scanty, if I may say, on the media. It was not clear exactly what happened, and it was such an interesting story. Sorry to say this, but it looked like a whole movie thing that, you know, things that you watch on TV, now this happened in real life. So, of course, everyone would go search, and especially students. And also, I would like to believe parents were there also as well, because especially parents of daughters in university. They're like, okay, so this is what our daughters are doing. I need to go see what happens.
Right. Yeah. Right. Also, of course, that also put Governor Obado on the scenario. Brian Bunde, as a brand creative strategist, but also someone who is very well adequate when it comes to social media, how do what's happening online, trending online, influence news and what then becomes newsworthy?
We can tie back to what he mentioned, curiosity. So guys are curious about why is this and this trending. So definitely a couple of media houses will pick out, okay, let's try and demystify this and these topics. But you see, let's say when you're a fan, let's say, of KTN, and you miss out or a certain bit, or you feel that they haven't actually gotten the meat bit of it, you'll definitely go to Google and actually go and research. You go to all these other media houses, especially from a global perspective, to see how they will actually demystify that story that you're reading. So after a couple of researches now, that's why it leads to something trending higher than other topics. Yeah. So the more a story doesn't have meat, the more guys will definitely go and search for more details about it.
And is it I wouldn't say weird, but curious, that a lot of Kenyans are now getting their news from Twitter. A lot of this, be it Miguna's deportation, Kanzedena, to Sharon. A lot of people would get news from Twitter, then come to mainstream media to then look for verification with that. Did you see that a lot happening, especially now given the political year that we just come from and we've just had?
Yeah, to be honest, 2018 has been different because guys don't go to mainstream media for verification. They go to see what, okay, if you guys got a bigger story out of it. Because you see, let's like Miguna. I remember it happened like at around 11 p.m. he was literally in the plane and someone took a video with his phone and recorded it. So guys are getting a behind the scene view versus you waiting for media house. Let's say it's 11 p.m. so definitely the story break in let's say around in the morning. Right. So you're getting all the udaku straight from your bed instead of going to tune in and checking, let's say switching between stations versus when you just go to Twitter and you literally just search for Miguna. You're seeing a different view from guys, let's say, who have boarded the plane, from the air hostesses, let's say from even security guys. So we're at a point whereby everyone is a media house per se. So everyone is giving their view from a different angle. Even during the demonstrations after the elections, I remember guys were posting videos of them hidden, let's say in rooms, avoiding cops, guys saying, okay, look at this security guys heading to this side, which we are sure has drama. So from a public perspective, everyone now is a reporter, per se.
Yeah, thanks to our phones.
Yes.
All right, take a look at how-to. What was searched for the most when it comes to how-to? The board is coming up right now on your screens. There's one that caught my attention is how to become pregnant, but that wasn't the top 6. These were the ones that were top 6. How to file your nil returns, how to check KCPE results, how to write an application letter, how to make money online, and how to file KRA returns. Saruni, a lot of people, if you take a look at the last 3, how to write an application letter, how to make money online, how to file your KRA returns, they're sort of attached to employment and seeking jobs or entrepreneurship, which speaks a lot about our generation as young people. How to make money online. Kenyans are hungry for, I wouldn't say money, but opportunities, but also money at the end of the day, because it does put food on your table, generally speaking. But this goes to show that at the end of the day, because of the unemployment rate within Kenya, things are a bit thick, and you can tell from the Google search.
True. All right, so actually one thing that hasn't been captured among the how-tos trending top in the whole of 2018 is around September, October, I think, is that how to join Illuminati in Kenya was one of the top search trends. And again, this also ties down to those last 3, how to write an application, how to make money, and how to the last one. How to KRA returns. Yes, exactly. So it's all about, like you said, opportunities and employment. And the fact that how to join Illuminati made it top somewhere along this year shows how desperate Kenyans have become, especially Kenyans our age, because you find that formal employment is not coming, informal is not coming, businesses are not working. What next for you? You turn to Illuminati.
But as a tech journalist, just demystify for us, how easy is it to make money online? Because on a global platform, the how-to scenario, one of the things that was there was how to buy Bitcoins. And we all know what has been happening with Bitcoins and the whole scenario around digital currency. But just demystify for us that, how easy is it to make money online?
Well, first thing I'll say, it's actually not an easy thing as the rest of us who've made it make it look like. You know, someone with 100,000 subscribers on YouTube will tell you, oh, I make $1 million every year. And you are there thinking, wow, I think I can get there. But something we are forgetting, these people took probably 7, 8, 9 years to get where they are right now. And the problem right now with the world being a global village is that we don't have an excuse of saying the technology is reaching us late. A good example is how YouTubers are making it in the US. Literally, those guys are making millions and millions of shillings. But you can't compare the same with a Kenyan YouTuber, regardless of how many subscribers they have. Because 7 years ago is when these YouTubers were starting out. Right now is when we are starting out. And we are on the same platform. There's no Kenyan YouTube. As much as there's YouTube KE, when someone searches for a certain video, you won't be placed differently just because you're from Kenya. YouTube will hurumia you because you're from Africa. You know, you just got YouTube the other day. No, it is the same platform. You're competing with guys who've had years and years of experience. So it's not that easy.
Brian Bunde, especially influencers in Kenya, are they making money? Is this still a way for you to be a side hustle, or for some people, even a career in itself?
Trust me, there are guys who are making millions off social media, then there are guys who are making 500 bobs on social media. It really depends with the type of content that you're looking into creating. The more quality type of content that you're creating, and even the amount of investment that you're placing in your content, the more cash that you're most likely going to make. Because see, brands are also looking at which value or what value is this guy actually bringing to the table? You can't be making videos with video, okay, kabambe, and expecting someone with an iPhone to earn, let's say, less than you. Guys are actually investing in huge cameras. Guys are investing in technology for editing all these videos. So being an influencer at times, okay, at times it makes cash if you know why you're going into that side, but it really depends with the value that you bring into the client.
As creative people say, content is king.
Yes, yes, it is.
All right, all right. YouTube Rewind. I hope that both of you have watched YouTube Rewind.
Yes.
Apparently, this specific YouTube Rewind for this year did not sit well with a lot of people. I'm going to get their thoughts in just a few minutes, but for you at home, in case you haven't seen the YouTube Rewind for 2018, which I'm also personally not a fan of, we'll share with you why, but take a look at it first.
Yeah, it's rewind time. Yeah, if I control rewind, I would want Fortnite and Marquez Brownlee.
Is this what you wanted?
You know who I would have asked for?
Quit horsing around. Play me some of that jumping music.
Okay, you said jumping music?
Jumping music.
Todo el mundo, fuera.
Not even a thank you?
¿Esa es Marcus?
Quiero a Liza. ¡Oh!
So guys, apparently we control Rewind this year. Y'all, we can do whatever we want. What do we do?
There's one thing this video needs.
K-pop!
Darf ich eine royale Hochzeit haben?
Yeah, but you're marrying Bongo Cat.
Warte, was?
So that video is about 8 minutes long. Jump onto YouTube if you want to see the entire clip. But here's the reason why this specific YouTube Rewind 2018 was the most disliked. It has about 139.6 million views. 2.3 million people liked it, but another 13 million disliked it. Meaning on YouTube down there at the thumbs button, 13 million people did not like it. Saruni, what were your thoughts of this year's YouTube Rewind?
Well, that thing was terrible.
It was.
First, from the whole ideation of it, without even looking at what they cut off, because that's the whole issue with it. But when you compare 2018's YouTube Rewind with the other years, especially 2017 and 2016, there was no that it. You know, there was no that thing where you feel like, whoa, what did I just watch? I need to watch it again. This time it was just like, okay, next. Because I remember when it came out, I actually watched the first 3 minutes. I had to finish it later on, like, okay, let me just finish and see what this whole hate is about. Because I think the whole production, as some of the people who have been featured came out and said, is that YouTube is trying to align YouTube Rewind to fit advertisers more than the community.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And that is the big problem now that has made so many people dislike, because there are so many events that happened on YouTube, especially there's a certain boxing match that everyone expected to be there on YouTube Rewind, and it was not. And it was just like, why?
Before I come to Brian's point, the reason why I think for me YouTube Rewind did not stand out for me this year is that I think they created YouTube Rewind for like 13 years old, forgetting our generation, the people who actually grew up and took on YouTube. I could only spot like 4 or 5 people. Okay, K-pop, Lisa, PewDiePie. The other people, Superwoman was not there. I did not see her. Like the actual old YouTubers were not being featured there. They have completely forgotten this generation. Brian, your thoughts?
I felt they honestly focused on the creators themselves versus on really what trended this year.
Right.
And You see, from someone who consumes so much content from YouTube, at times you actually don't care about how your content creator looks like. You just want to focus literally on what is this person talking about and the process involved in what they are talking about. So I think that's why it got the most dislikes.
Dislikes, because 13 million thumbs down.
Yeah, and it passed Justin Bieber.
Right? It has to be bad for it to pass Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
All right, take a look at what was the most Googled or searched for aspect internationally, on international platform. These are the things that stood out mostly this year. Number one, the World Cup. As Brian said, for him it was the biggest thing. And for the World Cup, the biggest game there, which was Croatia versus France, really stood out. Avicii, who died at 28 because of health concerns such as acute pancreatitis and in due time excessive drinking. Mark Miller, who again at the age of 26 overdosed on drugs and alcohol, ended up passing away as well. Let's take a look at the last one, where we had Stan Lee. Stan Lee, now at 95, the chairman of Marvel Comics, which brings me to the next thing, Black Panther, the first black superhero movie in the Marvel Universe history, which had the highest domestic grossing of about $630.5 million US. Meghan Markle, the most talked about wedding of the year. Okay, so Rooney, do you agree with that, such as what for you stood out? I'm actually not shocked that we have Stan Lee and Black Panther both following each other. Comic fans, Marvel fans right there. Okay, so Rooney, go ahead.
All right, so for me, this is such a relief, if I may put it, because there's no shocker for me. They're like, whoa, what is that doing on the list? Because these are things that personally I also searched for. These are things that they had such a huge impact internationally, such that it's easy to see why they made it on the top list of trending. But something interesting to note is that when you look at the first three and actually the first five, we see that aside from actually World Cup, the other four, these are actually individuals, including also, I would like to point out Black Panther as an individual, if I may say. Let's personalize it. These are celebrities, you know. These are things that had to do with certain people who are well known. World Cup, of course, would be number one. World Cup will always be number one whenever we have World Cup, so that's no shocker. But again, when we go back again, we see Meghan Markle at the end. And this is quite interesting because it shows that the royal wedding actually had a big impact. This particular royal wedding had a big impact, more than the previous royal wedding. And I'm thinking it's because this time we had someone who's black.
Exactly.
So there was a lot of speculation on, okay, wait. Actually, there were two things. She's black, and I understand
divorced?
Yes, exactly. And I think she's older, if I'm not wrong.
She's older, definitely.
So, you see, this is things that blows people's mind. Like, oh, what just happened? So, of course, she would make it to the list.
All right, Brian?
Meghan should be competing with Brexit.
Meghan should be competing with Brexit?
Yes, because you see right now, if you compare 2017 and 2018, Brexit right now really means a lot for the Brits. And right now, it's even... they're at a level whereby they are not so sure if the decision they made was right or wrong. So definitely should be competing. For Stan Lee and Black Panther, definitely it should be the other way around. Black Panther should be...
then Stan Lee.
Yes, then Stan Lee, because he just died, I think, a month ago. So
and Black
definitely...
Panther was all the way in February.
Yeah. And trust me, it's been a long year. So... definitely with Stan Lee, definitely guys were just, let's say, searching for other movies, let's say, that he created or are upcoming.
Okay. In conclusion, gentlemen, what are you expecting for 2019 in terms of the trend that Google searches, or what's trend's going to happen? You can say World Cup. It happens every 4 years, gentlemen. So no. Brian, let me start with you before I loop in Michael.
Wow, definitely football is going to be huge. Okay, pray Arsenal wins the league. In terms of politics, definitely there's going to be huge talk about Obado, about Jowie, because then's when the case is going to be continuing.
Right.
From a Kenyan perspective, the housing tax, I'm sure it's going to be huge, because I think the groundbreaking is happening either this month or next month, one of the two. Yes, so I'm sure guys will be curious about how much is going to be cut from my salary.
That's true. That's very true. Saruni, and you cannot say riparian land despite the fact that demolitions will still be continuing.
Your house is still there.
I know. So internationally, I think we are going to see a lot of I wouldn't say exactly what you've seen, but you'll probably not miss 1 or 2 movies, especially Lion King.
Yes.
There's high chance that Lion King will be top of that list somewhere there. And when it comes to the local perspective, I think we are also going to see a lot of legal questions and also a lot of things to do with tax, because that's literally the things that are changing. There's a lot of legal issues coming up, a lot of tax stuff coming up, and my prediction is that's what we'll be seeing next year.
All right, Saruni Maina, tech journalist with TechWiz, as well as Brian Bunde. He is a brand creative strategist. Michael, out of all those how-to and all those personalities, which one are you guilty of Googling?
Before I go to what I'm guilty of Googling, Zinzi, there is a text here from somebody who says, tell Zinzi that the only person I recognized there was Will Smith. That obviously gives...
Right?
That gives you an idea of how old they are. And they say pre-YouTubers entertainment needs to also matter. But there you go. Now, in terms of what am I guilty? Quite a number of them. But let me say that I was about to call her Angela Merkel, but no. The royal wedding definitely was one that was of interest for many reasons. Because in another life, I'm in that industry and wanted to see what was the trend. Again, we had the royal wedding here in Kenya, which, remember, was 1 million shillings for entrance and all that. So for me, that was one of the things I wanted to find out. What was the trend, around it, and why was it such a big deal? But there you go. And in terms of 2019, I agree. Lion King has got to be there. But that still remains my best animated movie world over.
Don't lie to them, because I tried to get you to watch Black Panther and you completely refused. So that's just a lie. I give up.
Precisely. Exactly. My point exactly. Thank you. All right. Well,